How much conflict is normal in a healthy relationship? Why do couples fight about the same thing over and over again?
What is the real difference between a healthy conflict and a toxic conflict? What do you do right after you've had a big argument with your partner? And is it possible for couples to truly resolve the conflict and move forward in a healthy way as an intentional couple? We will be covering these topics and more in today's podcast.
Hi, I'm Kester,
And I'm Kavitha.
and welcome to the Intentional Couple podcast, where we dive deep into the common relationship issues of today and how our generation of millennial and Gen Zs can build truly fulfilling relationships. Today, we'll be tackling some of the common misconceptions of relationship conflicts, and we're going to start with a game.
A game?
Yes.
I didn't think that talking about conflicts in a relationship, you can actually play a game.
Well, conflicts is a heavy topic, and I thought that it's nice to spice it up and make it lighter.
Okay, I'm a game. Okay, let's see. What do you
Okay.
have?
So in this game, I'm going to read out some of the common mindsets that people have about relationship conflicts.
Okay.
And you're going to answer whether you agree, you disagree,
Okay.
or it depends.
You know, there's something you all don't know about. For these podcasts, Kester prepares a list of topics and he surprises me with things like this. Well, let's see. What do you have, my love?
Okay. So the first one is, if we love each other, conflict should be rare.
I disagree with that because in a healthy and intentional relationship, conflicts are a normal part of understanding each other. One thing people think about is if you were to look at relationships in general, where do we get our benchmark from? From movies, from fairy tales, from social media couples.
And our parents and our grandparents.
Yes, unless you come from an intentional family who worked with conflicts in a healthy way. Most of the times it was either you avoid conflicts or you sweep them under the rug or you just say, she's like that one. And then one of the person will just walk out of the house. Then you just see them coming back together and just behaving like nothing happened. So that kind of leaves you feeling confused. So a lot of us swung to the other end of looking at K-dramas, or I don't know what's popular now. Is it Love Island or something? I have no idea what Love Island is, by the way. I don't watch shows.
Or celebrity couples going on dates or having conversations on podcasts.
Yes, and they don't show ugly things like conflicts. So we think that it should be that way, where there are all these wow dates that are planned and all these fantastic things that are happening. One day they're flying over in hot air balloons, and the next day, God knows what they're doing, drinking wine in some county somewhere. And you're like, this is how a romantic relationship should be. And if we are in love with each other, we should surprise each other with the latest bag, the biggest diamond necklace, whatever. So here is what I've got to say. In a normal, everyday relationship that has not been staged for social media, for ratings, for likes, for sponsorships, conflicts is a normal part of relationships. That is something we got to understand. Now, the difference is, what do you do when conflict happens? How do you resolve it? That is what makes the difference. What do you think, dear?
I will go further to say that for a relationship to be truly fulfilling, conflicts are actually necessary. But I think it's more accurate to say if we love each other, we deal with conflicts intentionally.
Yes, I agree.
Rather than
I agree.
if we love each other, conflict should be rare.
Oh, I think that should be a quote by Kester.
Yeah, we put it up on one of our social media
I
posts.
think I like that. Quote by Kester. Oh, the book that we are writing,
Yeah,
book on
yeah.
intentional couples, right?
Yeah.
Look out for it,
Yeah.
by the way.
The second one is not all conflict is toxic. Some conflict is necessary.
You see, you brought the word toxic into the whole statement, which is why I am like, I agree, conflicts are necessary because conflicts helps you understand each other better. It helps you uncover layers of yourself which otherwise you would not know existed. It also helps you form a relationship from a deeper space. We will explain that a bit later. But to say that conflicts are toxic, all conflicts are toxic, we got to understand the relationship dynamic first. For example, if one of the partners has a narcissistic personality trait or a sadistic personality trait, or there are few other personality traits like that, which generally falls under the category of manipulation. In such cases, I would lean towards, but I'm using these words with caution because people throw the words narcissistic, like you brush your teeth every morning. So we got to be careful. There's specific characteristics of a person that defines them or kind of would point towards them being a certain type or the other. But if the relationship is something of manipulation, then those kind of arguments are toxic and is not healthy because it's not going to go anywhere. But in a normal relationship, conflicts are healthy. I think the problem arises, and I'm going to say this again, when you don't know what to do with the conflicts. If you default to the way your parents, your grandparents dealt with it. One parent leaves the house, when you ask, they say, yeah, women are like that one. They're very emotional. Or they would just sweep things under the rug and pretend like nothing happened. And that is not a healthy way of resolving conflicts. What do you think, Delhi?
I think it depends on how somebody is using this line. If you are using this line to approach a conflict with growth and positive mindset to say, hey, all conflicts are normal. It doesn't mean that my relationship is failing or there's something wrong with it. It's normal because we are all human. So let's see how we can learn and grow from this. But if this line is used to justify a relationship where there's genuine incompatibility, where it is genuinely not a healthy relationship, or the premise of the relationship is not strong. Maybe the foundation of the relationship is you got together because of family pressure or because one of the partners got pregnant and you felt obligated to be married. Then if that's the nature of the relationship and you are using this line to justify why you should stay because you're afraid to leave, then I would say that this is actually not true.
Or if there is a truly toxic relationship traits in there. I think we should do a podcast on narcissism and the different layers of it, because narcissists, there are many different types. And there's covert, overt, and there's a whole big list of it. That could be a different podcast. What do you think?
Definitely.
Okay.
Third common mindset people have is, if someone truly loves me, they will understand how I feel without me needing to say it.
Oh my God, a big false. All capital letters, the F all the way to the last letter, all in big caps. It's false. Look, you didn't marry a mind reader.
But it's pretty common, right, that people have subconsciously have this expectation.
I mean, totally. I think when we got together first also, I kind of was like, if you've been with me so long, what? You should know what. And then you're like, and then when I go back and I reflect, I'm like, but how would he know what I'm thinking? How would you know what I'm feeling? Even if the situation seems similar, still the intricacies of it can be different, right? And I think the biggest problem happens when people expect their partners to be mind readers, right? So this is something which comes up a lot in the couple therapy, the work we do as well. And they're like, but he should know what? I've already told him that when I'm angry, he should do ABC. And I'm like, yes. But do you know that you did not marry a mind reader or a wizard?
But I think there is, if I go deeper into it, the psychology of it, I think there is an understandable reason why people have this expectation. Because you see, when we were babies, we were children, our mothers were very attuned to us. Right? Our mothers could tell when I'm crying, even though I can't speak, where even though I don't know language, mothers will be able to tell based on my behavior or my cries, what do I need? Right? If I'm feeling uncomfortable, they will know, okay, do you need to be burped? Do you need a diaper change? Or are you hungry?
Yes,
Right?
yes.
But as we grow older, we start to form our individual identity. And that's when the separation happens between us and our mother. Our mother starts to understand us less and less because we start to form our own unique personality. And I think when it comes to relationships, two people are actually coming into the relationship from very different family backgrounds, very different life experiences. And because there's so much difference, we can't expect our partner to be completely attuned to us like our mother was.
Yes, yes. I agree with what you're saying, right? If you look at it biologically or behavioral or growth perspective, there definitely is a difference. When we were younger, I think the mother or the primary caregiver of the child, Lala, right? Nowadays, fathers are pretty involved in raising their children as well, and sometimes grandparents get involved. Especially if there's just one grandkid in the family and there's so many adults. Everybody is
That's
like
right.
willing to drop things and go and say, "Hey, what's going on? Why is the baby crying?" So it's like all of these people. The minute I cry, they come to me and they try to figure it out. For a baby, it's like I don't need to say anything.
Yeah.
But still, whatever discomfort that I'm feeling is being resolved.
Yeah.
Right? So imagine two people coming together because both of them have probably come from spaces where they've had a team of adults caring for them.
Yeah.
Now suddenly they come and they are the adults
Yeah.
in the relationship.
Yeah.
And there, yes, I agree. There could be that mismatch inside. Like the expectation is all these years, this is what has happened.
Yeah.
How come now in this relationship, this other person? So it's probably to do with the inner child aspects of them, which is yet to grow up.
Well, yes, yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Which has
Yeah.
equated love to anticipating my needs.
Yes, yes.
Understanding, attuning to me fully so you know what I need without me
Yes,
saying. But
yes.
when we mature, love looks different.
And it's also about the person needing to understand themselves. Who am I when I feel uneasy? What am I actually feeling beyond these muddled thoughts? Instead of just expecting to just go to your significant other and asking them to like, hey, I feel muddled. Can you unmuddle me?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think there's a common misconception that people have
Yes.
that when it comes to a relationship conflict, it's about how you communicate, but it's actually about how you understand yourself
Yes.
first, which we will cover later on in the podcast.
Sounds
Right? Yeah.
beautiful. Oh, I'm loving this game.
Okay, next one. Good communication should solve everything.
That's a tricky question.
Yeah.
That's a very
There's
tricky
a lot of
question.
missing information in that though, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like good communication, dash, 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 dash,
Yeah.
should solve dash, 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 dash,
Yeah.
dash.
But it's very common that people generally say that, you know, if you have relationship issues, it's because you can't communicate well. And if you just work on your communication, you will improve your relationship. But is communication really everything? Yeah.
Communication is a big part of any kind of relationship, whether it's with your intimate partner, whether it is with your parents, whether it's with your child, whether it's in the office, whether it's on the street. But communication alone is not enough. To give you an example, like with my son, I think I started realizing how important communication is when he came around, and now he's much older. He's able to understand. And then I say, hey, pass me this. And he's like, what does this mean? There are 5 different objects here. Are you referring to these objects? Are you referring to something else? But you dear, you would kind of know when I say this, you're like, maybe it is this, right? But he just made it so clear. Mommy, what do you mean by this? Is it the things on this table? Is it the things over there? Then I have to be even more specific. I say, can you pass me a spoon? Now, spoon is general again. Which spoon? Do you mean a teaspoon? Do you mean a tablespoon? Do you mean a dessert spoon? Do you mean a serving spoon? So, you see, communication alone is not enough because communication is huge, it is vague, and also depends on the life experiences of the person. You have more experience with me and experience as an adult. So if I say, pass me a spoon, you will think about it in context.
Yeah.
She has a big bowl and she needs to serve something from this big bowl into small plates. So process. Okay, she needs a serving spoon.
Yeah.
But someone like a child who's yet to develop these things is like, what spoon do you want, mommy? So you see, I think a more accurate thing to say is communication and having the right relationship skill sets, the right intentions as two individuals to build an intentional relationship is what is necessary to build a healthy relationship.
Yeah. I think when people say good communication, there is a lot of variation around what that means. Communication actually has many layers and aspects. Like what you mentioned was just one aspect of communication, which is being specific, which is finding the right words
Yes.
and the language to communicate something effectively.
Yes.
But communication is also about non-verbal communication, right? It's about not just what you say, but also about how you say it.
Yes.
And what are you feeling when you are saying something?
Your body language, yes.
What is your emotional and internal state when you are saying something? Because that is also communicated to the other person.
Yes.
And communication is also about listening,
Yes.
which people think is easy because, oh, I just keep quiet and listen, but it's not just that. Listening is
It's an art.
it's actually like going to the gym, because listening is not just about opening your ears and hearing the words. Listening is about being completely present. That means bringing all your energy from your thoughts, your emotions, bringing it all down to one point and being completely present with that person.
And
listening
feeling into what is trying to happen here.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
So it takes a lot of energy to actually listen properly.
Yes,
And
yes.
that energy is also needed to take charge of your own emotions. Because when you're listening to somebody, you're going to feel things that come up in you. They're going to say things that are going to trigger you, that might not be comfortable for you to listen to.
Yes.
And so listening is actually taking charge of your own emotions at the same time being present with the other. So there's a lot happening in listening that we don't see from the outside.
Yeah, so it's like kind of tuning into what is trying to happen to that space, being fully present, which is hard because a lot of times the minute somebody says something and you feel attacked, you tune out of what is trying to happen here and go into your defenses of what you should say next to protect yourself. So your protectors come out in that instance. And the minute that happens, you've stopped listening. You've started defending. And that is the difference between healthy conflict resolution, which is, I think, where we're going to be going soon, and listening to defend yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I like about our relationship, dear? I bring certain perspectives in, and you bring other perspectives in, and together it's just something so beautiful.
And yes, one of the core tenets of an intentional relationship, that you don't come into the relationship needing something from each other, but coming into it with both your strengths, both your self-responsibility, self-empowerment, and making something even more powerful together.
Yes. And also honoring each other's strengths, honoring each other's capabilities and intuitive knowing.
It's very humbling. I mean, knowing that I am complete in myself, but yet I'm incomplete by myself, because we are two halves of a whole.
Yes. Beautifully put.
Okay, last one. If a relationship is healthy, it shouldn't feel draining. Agree, disagree, or depends?
Say that again.
If a relationship is healthy, it should not feel draining.
It depends. I'm going to ask you, what is the lifestyle of this couple? Because if a relationship is healthy, it shouldn't feel draining. If both of you are living Zen lives with zero external stress, then of course it won't be draining. But in today's world, with the amount of mental load that
Yeah.
is happening and the amount of layers of decisions, micro decisions one needs to make on a daily basis.
I think this mindset came about from some of the couples and individuals that we have seen in our work. And it's quite common now in the dating scene, when an individual feels that, oh, I have to invest so much emotional energy into this relationship. It's too much. I should just cut it out. Or this is not the way it should be. Relationships should be easy. It should be recharging. If it's draining my energy, then it's not the right relationship.
Yeah, but then that is not a healthy relationship, right? Because you're coming in with the wrong kind of expectations. You're coming in expecting fairy tale dates, elaborate plannings of what should happen, how it should go, how every moment should look like. Instead of just coming and just being present and just being yourself. Oh, we should go to this cafe, we should take photos like this, we should sit like that. Just all of these expectations that you're already exhausted even before meeting the person. There are three kinds of relationships. There's the intentional relationship, there's a transactional relationship, and there's the obligatory relationship. And we'll go into depths of this in another podcast. If you are in a transactional relationship or an obligatory relationship, it is not healthy. And it is going to feel draining because this transactional relationship is like, I planned the last date this way. Now you need to plan this date this way. Or people who are so focused in their career and they're saying, okay, you know what, I need to have, because my clock is ticking. If I don't get married by this year, I may not be able to have children, BTO, yada, 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 whatever reasons, right? Then when somebody comes in like that, they are so focused on work and everything else that they're doing that dating becomes a point on the checklist, or being in a relationship is another checklist. They're already like so overworked with all the decisions you got to make, and now you're throwing AI into the mix. So if you were living in olden era where life was much more simpler, you needed to make lesser decisions in a day, then a relationship naturally becomes a space where you come and you're resting and you're relaxing and you're recharging together. But now when you have to make a decision of, oh, there are 10 different cafes which opened last week. Which one are we going to go to? And when we go there, there's like 30 different drinks to decide from. Which drink do I want to have? Do I want to have a macaron on the side or a cake on the side? How do I arrange it to take the perfect Instagram picture to put out? What do I think about to talk in such a way that I don't feel like I'm boring in this conversation? I need to think about intellectual things to talk about. And then, who's going to pay? Should we split the bill? If we split the bill, what will this person think? Will he think that I am a gold digger, for example? I feel exhausted just listing the number of micro decisions you got to make in that 30 or 40-minute date. Where you got the time to be present with each other and to go with the flow. It was possible those days where you go to a cafe, you just have 3 drinks to pick, and then you're just being with each other.
Yeah. I think our generation has become a lot more aware of energy. There's all these reels about protect your energy. There's this negative energy. This is draining your energy. And it coincides with the kind of lifestyles that we've been living compared to the past. There's a lot more things that require our mental energy, emotional energy in today's world. And so it's understandable that someone would want a relationship that is stress-free, that is just easy, that allows them to escape from the hustle and bustle of the outside world. But the reality is that relationships require energy to maintain and build.
Yes.
It requires a lot of presence to connect to your partner, to connect to yourself, to truly go deeper and understand each other better.
Yes.
And what happens is relationships get pushed to the last priority nowadays.
Yes.
It's like, I need to work to get that BTO, to pay for that renovation. If we have kids, to get them to tuition and those CCAs and activities. And to keep up with certain lifestyles that we see on social media. Our house needs to look like that. Our dates need to be magical experiences.
Yeah. All of that starts to
Yeah.
add up and take its toll now.
And then the energy that we have left, we don't have any energy left to actually build something meaningful in the relationship.
I think it is possible to come to a place where you are having that serene, that calm, that joyful center when you are in a relationship. Like for us now, when we come into each other, we're able to come to that space, but we had to work very hard for it.
Yeah, yeah. So I think the answer is yes, a relationship can be draining, but in order to get to the space where it is no longer draining and it actually nourishes you, takes work. And in that process, sometimes your relationship can feel draining, sometimes it can feel nourishing.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I think I just want to add to that as well. At the start, it is going to be a lot of dissonance. When you're taking two different liquids and you're trying to mix them together, that means it's two different individuals, two different adults with two different nuances, ways of being, and you're mixing them together to create one relationship. There is going to be a lot of disturbance. There's going to be different layers of sediments that form. You mix it up, right? It is going to look very messy and murky. So at the start, your relationship will look like that. But when you put that cup aside, let things settle. That means you learn about each other, the nuances of each other, unpack these things, and you'll have clear layers. That's when relationship becomes a place of solitude, a place of strength, a place of rest and respite. But it takes time.
And learning the right skills.
Yes.
But some people would ask, how much conflict is normal in a healthy relationship? Is there a point where there's too much conflict and it shows incompatibility?
I think there are a few layers to answering that question. The first layer is we got to understand where are you as an individual? How well do you understand you and your nuances? Second is you're bringing another person in. Where is this person in comparison to you? How well do they understand themselves? What are their layers? What are their nuances? Next layer is what is your family background? What do you inherit from your family? Where is this person at? What does this person bring from his or her family? Next is the situation or the circumstance in which you are as a couple. Is that conducive, non-conducive? What are your jobs like? Do both of you travel a lot, or are both of you based in the same country? Is one on shift? Is one not on shift? All these layers we got to see before we come to answering that question. To say that, oh, I fight 5 times a week with my partner, hence we're not compatible, to make it that simple is not correct.
Yeah, I don't think it's something that you can quantify.
Yes,
right?
yes,
It's not
yes.
really about the number of conflicts
Never,
that you
never.
have or the intensity of the conflicts
Yes,
that you
no,
have. Because a
no.
couple can have no conflicts and the relationship might still be incompatible because they have different values and different
Yes.
directions that they are heading towards.
Yes.
And a couple can have a lot of conflicts but still be compatible because
Yes.
they're growing from the conflicts.
Yes.
Right.
Like, for
Yeah.
example, we have had some very intense conflicts, very intense conflicts, where both of us go to very deep spaces in ourselves. But when we come out of the conflict, when we understand our own selves better and we explain that to each other,
Yeah.
each time our relationship grows deeper. It gets stronger. The amount we learn about each other, the amount we start to respect each other, the way we love each other starts to change.
Yes.
So to say that intense conflicts are bad is not
Yeah.
accurate. It is all comes back to how well do you know yourself? Do you have that baseline confidence that no matter how deep this conflict is, we love each other and we're going to come back to each other? maybe he needs some space, maybe she needs some space. There is this one challenge our family was going through. And as we were moving through that challenge, I went into a very, very deep space, a very dark space where I started feeling collective pain of women who experienced a situation like that. And that pain was so deep, so intense that I checked out. When I say I checked out, to preserve my day-to-day functioning, the aspect of me that was, or the part of me that was feeling that pain, went into a deep space. So I was functioning on the surface level day to day, but this part of me that could feel was not there. And I knew, the awareness in me knew that this went to a deep space. But I could not communicate in that moment what I was experiencing with Kester. But he knew our relationship was strong and he knew to be patient, to wait it out for a few days. I think it took, what, 3 days for me to actually come back from that space and then explain to him actually what I was feeling, what happened, how I was, and what was moving through me. But through that, we realized that, okay, it is possible for you to go into a deep space like that. When that happens, what cue words can we have? How can we support each other, right? So that takes a very deep level of understanding. And it's the same for you too. You also enter spaces like that.
On the surface, if someone who didn't know us were to see what was happening between us, they would think like, oh, this relationship is toxic and it needs to be separated. But I think in our relationship, we always know that there's what's happening on the surface and there's what's happening at a deeper level. And we know that what's happening on the surface is just a symptom. It's just a reflection of what is happening at a deeper level. And what needs attention is not what's on the surface, but what is deeper. So I think it's best to actually separate this whole concept of what is healthy in a relationship from conflicts. Whether a relationship is healthy or not has less to do with how much conflict is there and more to do with what are your mindsets, your values, and the foundation of your relationship. This is something that we go into in our Sacred Relationship Foundational course.
Yes, you should check that out, by the way.
We'll put it in the link below. Because in our work with couples over the past 7 years, we've noticed that it is actually not about the surface level issues that determine whether a relationship is strong. It's actually more about the foundational issues like what are your values? Are you aligned in prioritizing growth and learning and prioritizing the relationship? Are you aligned in how you approach conflicts? Are you aligned in what are the necessary ingredients in a relationship to make it meaningful and fulfilling? And are you aligned in the kind of relationship that you want to create together? Those are much more important than how many conflicts that you have.
So actually in the course, we talk about 4 pillars. These 4 pillars are important to build the right kind of foundation for an intentional relationship. And the 4 pillars are accountability, growth mindset,
commitment,
and
safety,
and creating safety in the relationship. So these 4 pillars is what you got to focus on building first. When you have these 4 pillars in place, no matter how strong the conflict is, no matter how deep it may feel, no matter how many days your partner needs to take to find themselves before they can come back into the relationship, you know that you are fine. Your relationship is fine.
That's it. I think some people might ask, how come we keep having the same conflicts over and over again? You know, like I thought we resolved it already, or I thought we talked about it already. How come it's still happening? And is that a sign that this relationship is unhealthy?
You know, 9 out of 10 couples come with this complaint. Once we see in our individual courses, whether it's in our workshops, group sessions, the webinars and all of that, 9 out of 10 people will ask the same question. We have the same conflicts over and over again. I've told him to dry the clothes like this, but he never dries the clothes like that.
Sometimes it's about more fundamental issues like one partner always wants to have nice experiences, and the other partner is like, no, we need to save money.
Yes.
And it always happens when they talk about money. The same argument comes out and it's sensitive. Or it might be to do with in-laws. Every time we
Yes.
talk about each other's relatives,
God,
oh,
yes.
your mother disrespected me last time. I don't want to go for family gatherings anymore. Every time the same issue is brought up, it brings up the same fight.
Yes.
So why
Yes.
do conflicts repeat?
Let's hear your take. I always start, so you go for
Okay.
it now.
So conflicts repeat because the root cause has not been solved. Simple. Conflicts are like loops that happen,
Yes.
circles that we keep going around because the core issue has not been addressed.
Yes.
And so it's like you're playing the radio over and over again. It's like you have in our time, when we were younger, there is a cassette player or CD player.
Yes,
it
and the
would,
tape comes out.
yeah. And sometimes it might play the same thing over and over again. Or gramophone, right? Like,
Yes, gramophone may be more understood.
yeah. So when there's something wrong with the system,
Yes.
it can replay the same line, the same part of the song over and over again. That's what happens in relationship conflicts. We keep replaying the same argument because the system has not been fixed. We have identified in our work 4 common root causes in relationship conflicts. One, deeper trauma. For example, something that your partner is presenting is reminding you of an emotional experience that you had as a child.
Yes.
For example, I had a client where he has a partner who demands many things of him.
Yes.
And he's constantly feeling not enough.
Yes.
And that reminds him of his experience with his parents when he brought back grades from school, and even though they were high, they were like 90 marks or 95 marks, his parents will still say, why didn't you get the extra 5 marks?
Yes.
So it is not that your partner will do exactly what your parents did,
Yes.
but they will do something that gives you the same emotional experience. So in that moment, what he felt was not good enough.
Yes.
So he had the same emotional experience of not good enough with his partner and his parents when he was a child. So the root cause of conflicts like that is unresolved trauma.
Yes.
Because there's some root trauma in us that we had as a child, a core memory that we have yet to resolve. So when our partner does something that makes us feel the same thing, we have a disproportionate level of response
Yes.
because it's many years of the same emotion being accumulated in us. The second root cause of repeating conflicts is belief systems that have been challenged. So for example, if I have the belief system that in a household, women shouldn't undermine the man. If I grew up in a household where my mother always listened to my father, and that was the same with my grandparents and
And
great-grandparents.
she never made any decisions without the father's approval.
Yeah. And then when I come into a relationship
Yes.
with my wife, and she challenges what I have to say,
Yes. And makes her own
yeah,
decisions.
anger might come out in me because my belief system that the wife should listen to the husband is being challenged.
Yes.
So the root cause in that scenario is that my belief system needs to be examined. It needs to be updated to what is my current situation. The third common root cause of repeating conflicts is fear. For example, if we have the conflict of whenever you text someone who is male, I get jealous or I get insecure. So whenever you see a friend who's a male, it turns out to be a big fight. What is actually happening in that fight is that I have an unresolved fear that you will leave me and that I will be alone.
Yeah, which could have come from, say, a previous relationship or something that happened in your childhood, or maybe a relationship between your parents, for example, where the father was of the jealous type, and that's just something you grew up with.
The fourth common root cause of repeating conflicts is misaligned values.
That is something we see a lot in the couples that we meet. For example, one partner could have values, like could prioritize. Let's talk about priorities first, and we come down to the values, right? But one person's priority could be career, financial security for the family. So, what would their values be? Their values could be ambition, their value could be growth, their value could be leadership. Because when they have ambition, growth, and leadership, then what happens is they're able to provide that family and also get the career progression they want. But the other person's value may be adventure, maybe new experiences. So this person may not be very interested in the next promotion or getting a salary increment, but maybe more like, oh, there is this new cafe people are talking about. I want to go and experience that. Maybe I'm interested in jewelry now and I want to explore my hobby in jewelry. Or maybe I want to travel to a different country and experience a new experience. Everybody's talking about going to Korea and dressing up in those period garments, for example. I want my partner to go with me and I want us to experience it. So then there is mismatch in alignment because one's value is ambition and the other's value is new experiences, or having a balance between work life and family life. This person whose aim is ambition, growth, career progression, making more money is going to be like, how come you don't have the same values? How come you keep pulling me back? Every time I want to go do this, you're like, oh, but we had agreed on this trip. And then here I am saying that, but this is an important meeting. I got to be there. I got to travel for work. How come you're holding me back? Then that's where misalignment happens.
The problem is many times we're not aware of what our values are. So we're unable to communicate clearly to our partner that this is actually a priority for me.
Yes.
And also, a lot of times, what we think are our values actually comes from trauma.
Yes. Like, for example, in the couple example that I gave, one partner could have come from a family background where money was scarce, where they saw whatever their friends wanted, the parents were able to get. But when they went back home as a child and told their parents, I want this, I want that, they're like, you want this, you want that. Why you think money grows on trees, is it? So this person may have grown up with that firm determination is when I grow up, I'm going to make so much money that I'm able to buy whatever I want to buy. Or I'm able to provide my family with whatever they want to provide. I don't want to ever be in a space where my child or my wife comes and asks me for something and I have to say no to them, right? So in a way, they're trying to provide for the family, but that value came from a space of pain, the pain of lack in their childhood. And the other person, maybe the trauma she has is, my parents were always so busy. They were always working. They never had time for me. So I always came home to the nanny and to the maid or to my grandparents. And I missed my parents so much because those crucial years of my life, I never got to bond with them. Yes, when I wanted something new, my parents gave me that. Or when I wanted to travel, my parents gave me that. When I wanted a new dress, I always had it. So what I want is balance. I want my parents to give me those nice things, yes, but I also want them to be there with me and spend time with me. So when she grew up, her value became balance. So she always said, when I'm working, I'm going to make sure that I have that work-life balance. So when she comes into the relationship and she has a value of balance, it comes from a space of trauma. So when they come into the therapy sessions, right, or when they do the course, they start to realize that, actually this value that we have gotten comes from a space of trauma. How can we readjust the values? Such that it comes from a healthy space. So actually the root cause of the male partner may have been scarcity, lack. And the female partner is also scarcity and also lack. The scarcity is different. You have scarcity of money, there's scarcity of time and companionship. So when you understand that the root which is aligning both of you is scarcity, that is a point of connection. And from that space, how do you build your relationship? How do you make it healthy? Right? So I think that is why we have identified these 4 core things as root issues.
So these are the 4 reasons why conflicts keeps on repeating. It's not about the dishes. It's not about money or whether to prioritize a career, but it's about a root trauma that is not resolved, a belief system that has been challenged that needs to be updated, the underlying deep fear that needs to be resolved.
Or misaligned values. But the value comes from a space of pain, some childhood trauma or some past trauma. And that needs to be understood and healed. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we've spoken about the reasons why
Yes.
conflicts happen and
Yes.
why they repeat. But what does healthy conflict actually look like versus unhealthy or toxic conflict?
So I'm going to talk about toxic conflicts first, because when you understand a conflict that is toxic or has traits of it being toxic, it is easier to understand what a healthy conflict looks like. Toxic conflicts will keep going in circles and there will never be a resolution to it. That is one. The second thing is toxic conflicts will always question your reality or it will deny your reality. That is the second thing that will happen. Third one is in a toxic conflict, there is never equality in you stating your points. It's always like one person is superior and the other person is inferior. These are three things or three signs to look for when you start to understand that maybe this conflict is toxic. For example, when it comes to parenting, maybe your child comes to you and says, "Oh, mommy, I want to eat a burger today." And then you're telling the child, and your partner's right there, you're telling the child, "Hey, but you had a burger yesterday. You can't keep having burgers every day." And then the child is like, but I want to have a burger today also. Then you're looking at the burger the child wants to order, and it's like, it just doesn't look healthy. La. Imagine having McDonald's every day or having Burger King every day. And then you're trying to make your point, but then your partner comes in and says, okay, what? He's a child. He can have a burger yesterday and today. Then maybe you're taking this conversation privately with your partner and saying, hey, dear, every day having burgers is not good. I was trying to make that point. I needed you to step in and to support me while I'm making this point and to tell this child the importance of eating healthy, why we need to have healthy, balanced diets on a day-to-day basis. But then the whole thing spun out of context and you were just trying to say, your mother's always like that one. She always worries about money. Yesterday we spent $30 eating out. Today also we're going to spend $30. She's just like so penned up about money all the time. Instead of being focused on the nutrition that the child is not getting. So in that instance, this person is always right and the point you're trying to make is always wrong. So there is a difference in the way you're parenting, right? Yes, sometimes this can happen, but when you've brought it and both of you have aligned and subsequently it keeps happening that way, that is a sign of a toxic conflict. Another toxic conflict where your reality is being denied is where you say, okay, let's meet tomorrow at this cafe at 5 p.m. And you get there at 5 p.m. and the person is very upset. And you're like, hey, what happened? The person's like, you said you're going to meet at 4:30. How come you're half an hour late? And you're like, no, I remember us saying 5 p.m. And I'm here, it's 5 p.m. sharp now. And the person's like, no, I said it was 4:30. The person's like, you're like that, La. Every time you forget, you make a commitment and you forget. We said it was 4:30, but you're saying it's 5 o'clock now. You're always like that one, La. Every time you always forget things. It's okay, I forgive you. Come, let's go. And then you're left there wondering, actually, I thought it was 5, but he's saying 4:30. Oh, maybe every time I'm like that. Maybe every time I forget. That is toxic.
Another thing that differentiates between healthy conflict and toxic conflict is the presence of someone's awareness or the presence of both partners' awareness.
Yes.
So there are two aspects in us. One is the awareness and one is the ego. The ego is the aspect of us that focuses on survival. There's the part of us that gets defensive or attacks another person whenever our needs are not met or whenever we feel that our belief systems are being challenged.
Yes. It's probably because somewhere along the line you assign this ego of yours the role of a protector to protect you from situations where, as a child or a young adult, you were placed in a vulnerable space. It's not something that happens consciously. You need to protect me. No, it doesn't happen like that. It's just more something subconscious, something that is, you're like, this was a challenging situation. And then your psyche goes and creates a protector.
Yeah.
And that protector comes out every time that pain is touched.
So in a conflict, you can tell when someone's ego is present or someone's awareness is present.
Yes.
Ego is like when I say, you never do this or you always do this.
Yes.
Right?
So ego has words like never, must, should, always. These are usually the words that ego likes to use.
Or it says things sarcastically or
Yes.
that subtly manipulates the other person. But awareness pauses and says things like, oh, did I go too far?
Yes.
Did I say something that was very hurtful? Is there something that I'm not getting that I need to inquire to understand my partner's perspective more?
So awareness is like the part of us that is wise, that has a lot of presence in it. That is, it's a part of us that is understanding, that is curious. Awareness is the part of you that comes up and says, I wonder what's trying to happen here. I wonder if I said something that I should not have said. I wonder if he or she is feeling something that I'm not able to see in this moment.
So in an unhealthy conflict, only ego is present or is dominant most of the time. In healthy conflict, awareness is present more often. So it's because we are all human. It's not possible to always have awareness present. But if you do practice and work on it and strengthen your awareness, that you can come to a point where you are 90% awareness.
So usually a healthy conflict looks like a bit of ego, a bit of awareness, a bit of ego, a bit of awareness. But as you practice to strengthen your awareness more and more, the number of times ego would show up is lesser than the number of times awareness shows up. It is the same. You cannot go to the gym one day and expect to lose the 10 kgs that you gained over 5 years. But you can consistently go to the gym for a period of 3-4 months, get the right kind of exercises that suits your body, maybe a right personal trainer that enables you to work out the right way, have the right kind of diet and the right kind of mindset. With the skill sets, the right equipment and the right way of doing it, you can get your body to lose those 5 kgs or those 10 kgs. In the same way, for your conflicts to become healthy conflicts, you need the right mindset, the right pillars, which we mentioned earlier, which is something we talk about in depth in the Sacred Relationship Foundational course. Then you need to do the right kind of exercises outside of your conflicts. Can you shed some light on that?
So we always say that what you do outside of your conflicts is more important than what you do inside the conflicts. Why? Because awareness is built during peacetime.
I agree.
You cannot build awareness during war. You cannot build your awareness during the conflict. You can only build awareness when you're not having a conflict. Building awareness is doing practices, strengthening your ability to observe yourself, to separate yourself from your ego, to observe what thoughts and emotions you're having, and to go deeper into what those thoughts and emotions mean.
I mean, these are things that we cover in depth, the skill sets, the exercises, the mindfulness practices, which we cover in the Sacred Relationship Foundational course. The information is in the captions below.
So the takeaway is, in an unhealthy conflict, when both partners' egos are present, they're both trying to attack each other, and that's when conflicts spiral out of control. But in a healthy conflict, both partners' awareness is more present than their ego. And so there are more moments of inquiry of, did I go too far? What is actually trying to happen?
Or how can I do things differently? What is my learning from this particular conflict? So after the conflict happens, you're sitting down and you're like, okay, what was trying to happen here? What are our takeaways from it? What can I as an individual, what accountability can I as an individual take? And how can I show up differently next time? What are the areas I need to work on as an individual versus what are the areas we need to work on as a couple? Like, so each partner takes that responsibility, takes that accountability, shows that kind of growth mindset and commitment to constantly show up and improve the relationship. That is healthy relationship and healthy conflict resolution, right?
So we want to leave you with one practical strategy that you can try out at home. A lot of times, by the time we realize that we've gone too far, the conflict's already over. You've already said things that you regret, or you've done things that you regret. And so what is one thing that couples and partners can do after a big fight?
Yeah. So I'm going to give a very simple exercise, because you must understand one thing. These unhealthy conflict resolution patterns is things you have accumulated over many years. Probably things you saw your parents do, your relatives do, and that is your default way of how conflicts are resolved. There was no subject in school that taught us healthy conflict resolution, right? So I can give you something very, 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 very simple to start with. First is to understand yourself. If you don't work on building your awareness of you, it is very difficult to build awareness of what's trying to happen in a relationship with another person. So recollect a conflict you had. Something simple to start with, not something too complicated for the first time you're trying it. And then try to write down in what situations was ego present. What did ego say? Did my awareness come at all? And what did awareness say? So try to differentiate between ego speech and awareness speech. Right? Ego speech will be things like he or she always does that. Every time this happens. So it's always, must, should, every time. Uses words like that. They're very strong, very forceful, and your mind is going on and on and on trying to find more defenses you can use against the person. So that is ego speech. Awareness speech is slow down. Let's take a breath here. Let's try to understand what's trying to happen. Is there something about this person I don't get? Is there something about this situation I don't understand? Is there something about me that I don't get? Back down. Take 5. So write down. Ego speech was this, awareness speech was this. That is a wonderful start, I feel. Yes.
Because what happens a lot in conflicts is that both aspects are intertwined and mushed together. And we don't know when we are speaking from which part, and we don't know when our partner is speaking from which part.
Yes.
And so it can feel like a very confusing situation. And so this one exercise will help you to first start to differentiate between
ego speech and awareness speech.
Once you have identified what your ego says or is thinking in you, try to start to understand what is going on underneath your ego speech. Is it one of the 4 things that we mentioned?
Yeah.
Is it a trauma that is underlying what it's saying?
The root issues.
Yeah, what are the root issues? Or is there a belief system that is being challenged? Is there underlying fear that your ego is trying to protect you from?
Yes.
Or is there a misaligned value?
Yes. Even in these 4 levels of root causes that Kester mentioned, there's many other nuances that we have not covered. So I think these are things we can do in subsequent podcasts. If you have any questions of how to resolve a certain conflict or a challenge that keeps on occurring, put that in the comments below and we will see if it's possible. We will cover it in one of our future podcasts. Yeah.
So what is one message that we want our audience to take away from today?
Conflicts are not bad. Just because there are conflicts doesn't mean your relationship is failing. What you need is to have the right kind of skill sets, the right kind of mindsets to maneuver conflicts in a healthy way. And what about you, dear?
Conflicts are an opportunity to understand yourself better, to understand your partner better, and conflicts are actually the path to a more fulfilling relationship.
I totally agree with that. I think it is because of all these conflicts that we've had, we took moments to understand each other, to make our awareness speech stronger each time. I feel the relationship we have is so much deeper, and I'm so grateful for that.
So thank you for tuning in today. We'll see you at the next episode.
Yes.